Hello everyone, True Zero Emissions here. Okay, the first 100 miles. I've put just under 100 miles on the scooter now. Excuse me, and I want to tell you what I like and dislike about the Wolf King GTR. I've taken it up in the mountains, I've taken it in the dirt, I've ridden this scooter over all the bumps in the roads, in the bike paths, just everywhere that I've hit bumps in the past. I went over all those bumps with this scooter, the Wolf King GTR. I like the suspension on this even more than the Nami Bernie Viper. And I'm talking about the fast one, the one that goes 60 plus miles per hour with the long range. I had that scooter for a while, and I like the suspension on this even more than that. And it's really hard to even compare, because what I'm comparing is the smoothness of this. This is very, very smooth. But the Nami Bernie Viper scooter, the faster one, the 60 plus mile per hour one, because of the type of suspension it has, where it has the suspension that goes like, so it has the single bar that goes down, and then up here it goes back, and then it goes two arms going forward. That suspension just doesn't make sense to me, right? Because to me, if a bump is coming toward the tire and the suspension is like this, it looks like it's hitting, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with why the handling is so different on that kind of suspension. The Dualtrons have that too, where on the front, it goes up like this, right? So there's a bar that goes down, then the suspension goes back, and then it goes forward, and then this part, the forward part, goes up like this, right? It goes up like that. So when you hit a bump, it goes like this. Goes up. But I just know that this suspension, the angle of the geometry of the front of the scooter, and the fact that it has these two bars that go all the way down, right? Not just down and then stop, right? Like the in motion appears, it looks like it has two bars that come down, but then the bottom part looks like it has that suspension that goes back and then forward. Even though it's really low and it's kind of like flat, it just looks like if you hit a bump, it's going like back like this. I don't know why that. I just know, I haven't ridden the InMotion scooter, but I know that with the Dualtron scooters that have a similar suspension, and with the Nami Bernie Viper, the 60 plus mile per hour one, I've taken all my scooters to the maximum speed they'll go. And the Nami Bernie Viper with steering dampening on it, it was very uncomfortable to go fast on that scooter for me. I just felt really uncomfortable. It wasn't smooth. This scooter is so smooth. What I mean is, now that's the wrong word to use. The Nami Bernie Viper is smooth, but it felt like it wanted to turn. That's what I mean. It felt unstable. When I say unstable, I mean it felt like it wants to fall, like it wants to turn. I don't want the steering on a scooter or anything I'm riding to feel like it wants to turn any second, like it's just ready to turn, and it's trying to turn both ways, right? Anything but go straight. That is a very uncomfortable feeling. I'm not comfortable with that. When I go straight, I want to go straight. If I want to turn, I want the choice. I want to choose if I turn or not. I don't want the scooter to start turning left and right for me when I just want to go straight. The Wolf King GTR, just like the Wolf King GT Pro, very, very stable, even at the maximum speed, and with no steering stabilization. It's still completely stable. All my Dualtrons had steering stabilization, the Dualtron Thunder, the Dualtron Storm, and the Nami Bernie Viper, the 60 plus mile per hour one with the large battery. This scooter is so nice, it's so smooth over the bumps. The bigger tires it has, I didn't think I would like the bigger tires. I didn't want to like judge them and think, oh no, I don't want bigger tires. I actually had that thought. I don't think of wanting really large tires on a scooter. That's just, I don't think I would want that. But I thought, instead of thinking I like or dislike that, I thought, let me try this scooter and see how it feels. I actually like the tires. They don't seem big to me at all. I think they're the perfect size, and they handle really, really well. And I like this tire, the pattern on it, the fact that it's made to be used both on-road and off-road, and I've used it on both, and it's very good on both. And I love that it has the self-sealing, self-healing, what I'll call technology in it. It's a non-liquid, and I'll call it like a gel, but it's not moving around in there. It's really firm, but it doesn't dry. It's a liner. It lines the tire on the inside. And if you get a nail in there, I pulled 10 nails in pieces of glass, different miscellaneous, mostly nails and some glass, out of my last scooter before this one. It was the Dualtron. Sorry, I always say Dualtron. It was the Wolf King GT Pro. And after riding it for hundreds of miles, I went to the back tire and looked at it one day, and I just started pulling nails out and pieces of glass, all of which penetrated past through the wall, the tire itself, into that gel area. So when I pulled it out with confidence, I pulled it out, no air escaped. So I haven't got any nails or glass in these tires yet, but if I do, I'm going to be very confident that I can pull that out. And I would say in my experience, 99.999% of the time, in my personal experience, 100% of the time, the tire has always held air. There was a time when someone I know got a bolt, like a big bolt the size of my thumb, went into their tire, and the hole was so big that the gel came out, that the gel just pushed out of it. But if you just get like a nail, right, a nail or a small piece of glass in there, but any kind of nail or screw that so far that I've encountered in these kind of tires, what I mean is the self-sealing, self-healing tires, has never leaked, has not leaked after pulling the nail or screw out. So I'm really, really happy that the decision was made to stay with that, and I hope that the tires continue to have that. I hope that some more options, maybe some racing tires, some really high-performance race tires, can start putting that self-sealing, self-healing technology in there, because people don't just use this on the racetrack. They also use it on the streets, and the streets have lots of debris, lots of nails, lots of screws, and all that stuff goes on the side of the road and the bike where the bike lane is. All that stuff goes over there, and there's a lot of stuff in the sidewalks too. So people that are riding on the sidewalks at low speed, which you have to do on the sidewalk, you have to ride low speed, you have to ding your bell, let people know you're coming well before you get there. It's urgently, critically important to do that. You don't want to startle people, or hurt anybody either. That's real important. But I hope that we get some more options, but I'll tell you, even if there were no other options, I'm happy with this tire. If we don't get the race tires, the PMT tires, if we don't get that in a self-sealing, self-healing option, I'm happy with these, but it would be nice to have that as a choice. So I hope that can be done. I'm going to talk about what I'm really not happy with, and I don't know if something's wrong with the scooter or if they made it this way, but I'm not happy with something. I'm really unhappy with something right now, and I'm going to tell you what it is. And this is just me. Everybody knows how much I talk about regenerative braking, right? I love really strong regenerative braking, and my favorite kind of regenerative braking is when I let off the accelerator. Now, I always ask for this to be a setting that can be turned on or off, because I know many people wouldn't like this, where you just let off the accelerator. Just by letting off the accelerator makes the scooter stop in different degrees of quickness, right, of different degrees of strengths. Okay, this scooter, I don't think it has it. I don't feel that. Not only that, though, and I really hope that can be an option that can be put in there, a setting. But not only that, but also I'm noticing that it seems like the regenerative braking, which is when you touch the brake enough for the brake light to come on, it activates the regenerative braking system, the electric brakes, which is a smooth slowing down. I'm not talking about the pulsing one. That's something else. There's a pulsing one that goes tut, 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 tut. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the smooth electronic brakes where you just touch the brake and it slows down really, really fast. Think about this. You have this really, really small brake pad in here, and I mean small. There's like an area of that, right? In the area within my finger of brake pad, okay? It's almost like a 1-inch brake pad, right? 1 inch by 1 inch or 1 inch by 3/4 of an inch. It's not a lot of area. There's not a lot of surface area, right? And we have that on each brake pad, and there's 2 brake pads, okay? This thing goes 65 miles an hour. I want my motors, will those motors become brakes and they can slow you down smoothly at a degree of strength that is by choice? And this has 5 degrees of choice. It has setting 1, which is very weak, 2, which is a little bit more, 3 is more, 4 is even more, and then 5 is supposed to be really strong, right? What this is doing, and this is what I'm not happy with, and I don't know if something's wrong with the scooter. If I'm going like around 20 miles an hour, which is a pretty good speed, to me, it should be more than enough to activate the electronic brakes at full strength. But it seems like it's not even doing anything. I'm looking back, my brake light's on, I'm touching the brake, I'm touching the brake, pulling the brake lever, and it's just not slowing down unless I pull it really hard to make I'm saying really hard. These are the stock brakes. These are I think they call them zoom brakes. So they're not the most sensitive brakes. I happen to love really, really sensitive brakes. I like when I pull that brake, I just barely touch it, and the scooter comes to a stop really fast. I like that. My Wolf King GT Pro had really good electronic brakes. At level 5, I had every speed number, because I think there's 5. They call them gears sometimes, but it's like a speed number, right? 1 through 5. I had all of those programmed to have the strongest electronic braking, and it's called electronic brakes or regenerative braking. That's because it's putting a little bit of energy, just a little bit, like 1%, up to 10% on some scooters. I've read that, but around 1% usually. But that's not why I like it. It's not because it's charging the battery and giving me maybe an extra half a mile after a full battery use, right? If you're stopping a lot, it might give an extra half a mile or something. That's still good. That's a half a mile that wouldn't have to be walked if the battery was depleted completely. But what I like is that not just that it saves the brake pads and reduces maintenance, but I like the strength of this entire motor, this whole motor, this big motor, acting as a brake and slowing down the scooter. That's a lot of, I mean, look, we're comparing a little brake pad that's like the size of my, smaller than the palm of my hand, much smaller, right? But more like from here to here, my finger, right? Like that part, or like my thumb, right? Almost like that area, like from here on. That's a small area for a brake pad, right? It's not much larger than that. So imagine surface area, 2 of those, right? Squeezing this disc right here. Okay, so on each side, squeezing on this side and on the back side together, versus this whole entire wheel inside, that whole motor acting as a magnetic brake, like a magnetic friction, because it's turning that motor, which is made to move the scooter, into a generator. And when you try to charge a battery or put a load, it's called putting a load on a motor, right? Putting a load on a motor or putting a load on a generator. Well, this motor can act as a generator. That's what it's able to do. And that's what regenerative braking is. It's when the motor becomes a generator. So it switches, electrically, it switches somehow, like in the controller. I think that's where it takes place. It switches and it turns, when you pull the brake lever, it turns the controller, it activates the motor as a brake, as a generator. And because the motor's trying to charge the battery, it's slowing down the scooter. Now when I'm going high speed, any high speed, and Ginger on Wheels mentioned this, what I'm going to say right now, he mentioned that he would like it to be more sensitive. I'm using my own words. But he did not like, if I understood him correctly, that when he pulled the brake lever, there was a delay in how long it took for the electronic brakes to become activated. He wants it to be instant, and I agree with that. I think they should be, if it's possible, and I think it is, because electric cars do it. Electric cars that have electronic braking can do it. You can go from acceleration to electric brakes instantly, and it'll instantly slow down. So I don't know why the scooter can't do that, and I don't know why it's not doing it now. And I hope that that can be looked into for this model, if it can be an update, and but definitely future models. But I really hope that can be fixed with this scooter, because I like the braking to be more sensitive, the electronic braking to be more sensitive with at all speeds, and I want to be able to set that. So when I set it to 5, to strength 5, I want the electronic braking to activate no matter what speed I'm going, and I want it to bring me to a complete stop. So if it's on 1, on level 1 for strength, you almost wouldn't feel it, right? Whatever speed we're going, low speed or high speed. Level 2 would be a little stronger, and then all the way up to 5 being the strongest, where no matter what speed I'm going, if it's on 5, on the setting 5 for the strength of the electronic brakes, that it can actually bring me to a full stop and not just slow me down to, like, 15 miles an hour and then stop slowing me down. I'm not happy with that. My Dualtrons all had the ability to bring me to a complete stop or very near a complete stop, where I'm almost completely stopped, maybe going like 1 mile an hour. That's fine. That's enough for me. I prefer all the way to 0 miles per hour, like just where it stops me completely. If that can be done, I would be really happy. So I wrote the company, I wrote Cabo directly, and I explained the situation with them, because I noticed this right away when I rode the scooter. So I wrote them an email and I sent it today, and I'll let you know. I'll make an update video to if they get back to me on that or what they say. And I also asked them what the name of this plug is, if they could tell me what this plug name is. And I also asked about the fast chargers, because the fast chargers, see, I have a fast charger here. This is the same fast charger. Like, this fast charger will work with that scooter. This was for the Wolf King GT Pro, but you see the plug? It's the other plug. So, I don't know if I could change this plug. I mean, I know I could if I can find the plug that goes into there. That plug won't go into there. But the charger has the right voltage and the right current. And the booklet, the user manual for this scooter, which is the Wolf King GTR, says that I can run two 5-amp chargers, and it'll charge the scooter in approximately 3.5 hours. And I can show that to you now. I'll show it to you again. I made a video earlier on that, but I'll see if I can find that information right now while we're here. I'm really happy to learn that they're putting that in the book, because fast charging is very important to me. My Segway GT2 that I had, it required 7 to 8 hours. And I had read that the 2-amp chargers were being referred to as quick chargers. And I thought to myself, how is that a quick charger, compared to what? Because to me, that was not quick. 7 to 8 hours is not quick to me. To me, quick charging is 10 minutes. And I know that can be done. Just read up on gbatteries.com to learn how they're doing it. They've been doing it for 15 or 20 years now. They began in their garage, father, son, in their basement, experimenting with cell phone batteries and experimenting with different ways that batteries can be charged. And they kind of stumbled upon fast charging. I don't think they had any goal of trying to fast charge a battery. They just wanted to see different ways of charging a battery. That's so exciting to me. They're a great success, but I may be saying this wrong, but it looks like only private industry has access to their technology, and it's not available to the public that I know of. And I had asked them if they could teach, maybe go to schools and teach the theory, the foundational theory of what they've learned to children of all ages and all, in schools, not just, grade school, but also colleges. It's so important that information be shared. It helps speed up the process of of industry adapting on a widespread level these new technologies and getting them out to the public. This is a really important technology. Gas cars are supposed to be, I mean, they've been planned to be banned for the sale of gasoline, petrol-powered cars have been planned to be banned for many, many years. They've been planning ahead, and in just a few years, they're supposed to not be sold anymore in California. We have fast charging right now, the technology with G batteries and many other companies too. I've read about many companies that have been doing this in the past. We've had this for so long, but if we don't understand the theory, we still have people on the internet saying you can't fast charge, it ruins the cycle life. They have already proven, you know, independently over and over and over again that with their approach, remember, never forget the engineer's mantra, right? There's always another way. Never forget that. That's the lifestyle of the engineer, of the electrical engineer, the mechanical engineer, the inventor, right? There's always another way. That means we can charge the batteries a different way. You can't just say, oh, there's no other way to charge a battery, and all the different ways you charge it are always going to reduce cycle life if you fast charge it. Well, if that's the focus, then there's nothing else to learn, right? But there's going to be other people learning other ways of doing it. And so that's why the experimenting must go on, and the learning must continue. So let's see if this is it. Yeah, it's right here. It says charging time, use 5 amp times 2, about 3.5 hours. Use 5 amp times 2. Customers are required to purchase 84 volt 5 amp chargers. So it's telling you that if you use 2 5 amp chargers, your charge time is approximately 3.5 hours. So I really like that they put that in the book there. So that's very helpful, you know, and that makes me feel like, you know, I can safely do that. And of course I would be with the scooter the whole time it was charging. But anyway, I don't know if there was anything else I wanted to say today, but I did want to tell you that I really need that regenerative braking to work better. I don't want to say it this way, but I hope something's wrong with the scooter, or I hope that it's not working better with the regenerative braking at lower speeds, or I hope that it can be updated so that the regenerative braking can work better. Because my Dualtrons, my Bernie Nami Viper, those scooters had incredibly powerful electronic braking, and I could adjust it, and I always put it on the maximum, always, and it would slow me down to almost a complete stop. And this one, it's not doing that. So I really missed that. It just, even in my old Wolf King GT Pro, it had that too. It had the ability to slow me down. I didn't have to be going really fast for that to work. On this scooter, it's just not working right. And if it's working right, it's just not working in a way that I prefer. So I'll make update videos on this, and I'm going to keep trying to research this and learn what's happening, and see. I can also see what other people are experiencing as well. Because the electronic braking should be kicking in. It should be activating at any speed, especially if I have it set to the highest level, which is level 5 on the electronic braking, regenerative braking setting. Okay, everyone, until next time.